Hello, English teachers. This is an ESL conversation unit designed for teens and adults, and the topic is on how the world's traveling industry is different compared to before. And so my shop is the Speak Up English Talk resources, and I specialize in designing kids, teens, and adult conversation lessons. And the way my lessons are designed is that first of all, you will teach a few keywords to the students. The keywords are related to an article that the students will be reading in the part two. So the part one is understanding some key vocabulary. Example here, the word tourism. What does that mean? And here is a sample sentence on the word tourism and how to use that in an English sentence. And my lessons come with beautiful graphics. So because a picture tells 1,000 words, so it's easier for the student to understand. Another one, for example, is the word rural communities. What is the term rural communities? What does that mean, right? And here's a sample sentence for that. And then usually in my lessons, they come with about 6 or 7 key vocabulary. And once you get over the part one, then you can get the student to move on to part number two, which is the reading of a short article, not necessarily simple, but short article. And so the article is split into a few pages, and each page has maybe at most 3 or 4 sentences. So this is easier for the eye, especially when you're doing online teaching, and it's easier for the student to absorb the information. And each page comes with nice designs, nice graphics. So it further helps to explain or supports the content, right? The reading content. So basically, this discussion unit is on how the tourism industry around the world is changing. So in the past, countries just try to get as many visitors into the country as possible. But right now, it's on travel experience, on how to get tourism to support their local business and etc. So countries are doing all kinds of things. One example is that they value repeat customers, repeat visitors, because they think that these people have a better chance of staying at their places longer, and are willing to spend more money, at the local businesses. So I give examples, right? You can talk about examples here. Taiwan is an example. Recently, they plan to give cash incentives to some tourists who visit again. So here's a term, cash incentive, and that is actually one of the key vocabulary that was introduced at the beginning of the lesson. And you can have the student talk about what their thoughts and feelings are about this option on cash incentives. Even ask them, have you ever been to Taiwan, right? And if they don't know where Taiwan is, then tell them where it is. So the goal for these countries is to bring them outside of the capital city, because there are many other places in the region that's worth visiting. Countries like Japan and Italy, they're doing the same thing. They want to spread the crowd, get them to visit some rural communities that's worth visiting, instead of just staying in Tokyo, Kyoto, or just staying in Rome or Florence. And some places, they're very crowded. They get a lot of people, right, that go there and visit. So they actually want to limit the crowd. So some places they charge entry fee for day visits, right? An example is, this is where we can share your experience. In Canada, some of the world famous national parks, they charge park passes. Okay, so not everybody can go there unless you show up with a park pass. And also, some places they want advanced bookings before they let you in. And so further on, then we talk about an example is New Zealand, how they want to promote longer stays. They want the visitors to explore different regions. Not only that, they also want them to visit a country during different seasons. Not right now, countries all over the world, they promote cultural awareness instead of just taking pictures of famous landmarks. Get visitors to go and actually learn and experience how the locals live. And in countries like Japan, you can go and join their traditional tea ceremonies. In Italy, the travelers can visit some family-owned vineyards, and also in Thailand, you can participate in cooking classes. Okay, so and countries encourage bookings, online bookings through mobile apps and online reservation systems. And also museums and parks, they want advanced bookings. And after the lesson is done, then there is the part three, which is the discussion part. And, I have usually like 8 or 9 questions that's already designed and that's already there for you to use. So it's meant to save you, the teacher, the time from having to come up with your own, conversation questions. So you can just follow these questions. But of course, if you have, things that you come up with, feel free to throw them in. Here's a sample question, right? What things are you willing to spend more money on when traveling? And, share your experiences. Some people would say, oh, I want to spend a lot of money on attractions or landmarks. um, some people would say, "Oh, I'm willing to spend money on the shopping or on the food, etc." Right? And another one, for example, if you want to, if would you visit a country if the government gives you the cash incentive? Why or why not? And you'll be surprised. Money is not everything. Some students say, there are certain places in the world where they would not go even if you pay them. So security is a very important thing, and also how clean the place is, right? Because they don't want to catch any disease or germs when they visit. So these are just all some of the things that you can talk about. You can share your experiences, and also pay attention to their grammar and also their pronunciation and their reading skills. And to try not to overcorrect. I usually wait for them to finish what they have to say, or wait for them to finish like 5 to 6 sentences before I give them a correction. So usually, ESL students, they make common mistakes on verb tenses, like past tense versus present, okay, versus future tense. They do get confused when to use what, and they also get confused with the verb conjugates, okay, like he goes, she go, so they get confused on that verb conjugates. So yeah, so watch out for those things, and also pronunciation is another big thing. So a lot of students, they have problem pronouncing words with a sound, right? Versus the d sound. Okay, so the, they would say duh, right? I try not to get too picky, but if something sounds too obvious, I definitely would mention it in the lesson. So anyhow, take a look at my store. I'm at the Teachers Pay Teachers website, and I do sell lessons individually, and also they come in packages. All right, then, see you. Bye.